Knock yourself out.
Oh, you're not coming?
Do you want me to come?
I thought you were gonna come.
Okay.
You don't have to if you don't want to, I guess. You ready?
Yep.
Factory.
Yo, listen up, here's a story about a little guy that lives in a blue world. And all day and all night, and everything he sees is just blue, like him inside and
What's up, everyone? It's your boy Dexter here, and I'm with my friend Alex in his 2015 EcoBoost Mustang. I know I said I wasn't gonna do any car reviews, but this one's a little unique because this car has the exact same setup as the Speed, but it's just in a Mustang. Super excited to show you my thoughts and kind of compare it to the Speed. So let's go ahead and get it started here. This car is a 2.3 liter engine, again, just like the Speed, and it's got a twin scroll turbo. I would say that if we were looking at as far as big differences were concerned, just based on the way that the vehicle's set up, it's rear wheel drive, obviously. And this car is, what's it, 3,600 pounds or something like that? 37. So it's 3,700 pounds. So it's about 500-ish pounds heavier than the Speed. But it puts down some pretty impressive numbers. What would you say if you had to, have you ever put this car on the dyno? Not yet? If you had to guess, what would you say it's at right now?
Horsepower-wise, probably just over 300.
Okay.
The access port actually is supposed to be really accurate with the estimated torque.
Right.
And the highest I've gotten was 375. So.
Nice. Tell me a little bit about what you've done to the car up to this point.
Cob access port, Pro Tune, green air filter, 3-inch downpipe into a 2.5-inch straight pump exhaust. That's really, we actually just got that done yesterday. So
awesome. So first impressions, takeoff is really nice. This clutch is super light, and it's got some nice power. Looking at some of the gauge module here, Alex is averaging just under 23 miles per gallon. That's pretty close to what I'm getting on the Speed. This is an interesting concept from Ford. It's been a while since we've gotten something actually new from Ford. And some would argue, oh, well, the SVO back in the 80s had a 4-liter turbo. No, this is nothing like that. This is the first time it's ever been done in a Mustang. And first impression so far, as comparing it to other Mustangs, faster than the V6 by a long shot. And Alex has got the premium package, so there's all kinds of goodies in here. And this also has different modes per se. So there's, one more time, it's
normal, sport, race, and then snow.
Nice. Okay, so we would never use snow here in Florida. Another huge thing about this car, independent rear suspension. So Mustang owners have been begging for that for ages, and you guys finally have it. You know, Ford hasn't done anything like this, and when you play with the Mustang, you're playing with America. And I'm not just saying that, you know, to be a jerk, but it's true. I mean, this car is an American tradition. So, just a very bold thing they did with this vehicle. The body's totally different. You know, it's starting to appeal now to more of a European crowd, not just the domestic crowd. So what are your future plans for this car?
I want to complete bolt-ons, front on intercooler, hard pipes, blow-off valve, and then big turbo.
Nice. Any plans for what turbo you're going to use?
No, it's currently still in the air. It might be a Precision 62, 66.
Ooh, nice.
But it's, like I said, there's still so much math that's involved with that. So.
Yeah. Definitely. And what about the aftermarket? Because I mean, it sounds like the mods that you've done so far are your basic bolt-ons. So has there been anything that you've tried to go out there and finally just don't produce it for this vehicle yet?
In the beginning, it was a little frustrating because you couldn't, for example, like for the intakes, you had your major 3 companies, and same thing for the downpipe. But now I think there's like 7 or 8 different manufacturers, so really you can pick and choose and mix and match however you please.
Awesome. What were your numbers on the quarter?
On the quarter mile, best time I ran was a 13.7.
Nice.
That was wheel hopping down the track.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and I think stock, you shave off about a second compared to stock, I believe. I think that they normally run about 14.5 or something like that on the track. So
something like that.
Yeah, so that's awesome, man. So tell me about those brakes. It was super responsive.
The car's the performance pack.
Yeah.
So you get larger radiator, larger brakes. You get stiffer front springs.
Okay.
And the brakes, basically, they're from the GT, but they have an upgraded pad on it.
Oh, okay. Okay. Tell me a little bit about the performance package. So I named a few things, but what are some of the extents of what this can do?
The performance package basically gives you it gives you the gauges in the car. It gives you some of the smoother finishes. It gives you a different final drive ratio, which goes from, what is it, 373 to 355.
Okay.
So that just kind of works into everything. Now with the 2016s, I suppose the performance pack actually comes with a more aggressive tune.
Oh, nice. What's going to be your very next modification on this?
From
Very next thing you're going to do?
Yes.
Okay. And who's tuning you?
Adam from Adam Tuned.
Okay. Now, does he only tune this platform? Does he do some of the ST stuff as well?
He does he does Ford, so
okay.
You have your Mustang, your Fiesta, your Focus.
Yeah.
He may extend into tuning 5.0 soon.
Nice.
Maybe. We've been bothering him. Rather not that's ever going to happen. We'll see, but mostly EcoBoost stuff.
Okay, very nice. Other impressions on this car are really just the feel of it. Does it still feel like a Mustang, even though it's got the displacement of my car? It does. The sound, I would say, is probably the most noticeable difference, but it still has a very nice tone to it. It's not something where you would get irritated or anything like that. Now, do you still have resonators on this?
No.
Okay. For it to have no resonators or anything like that, the drone is there, but it's not anything where your ears are pounding. As far as fueling is concerned with your tune, are you still running 93?
93 full time, yeah.
Okay. Any plans to go E85?
No, I may have some meth or do like a race gas mixture, some 103.
Okay. Now I'm getting a little bit of purge noise. Do you have any sort of bypass or blow-off valve on here?
It's vent to atmosphere.
Oh, gotcha. It still feels very much like a Mustang from the interior. You know, my biggest complaint about Mustangs that weren't the GT was that they all felt like rental cars. And this one does not feel anything like a rental car. It's very comfortable. So what got you into the Mustang crew? I mean, it's very much almost like a cult following.
Well, I always was into, performance cars and such. And when Mustang announced the EcoBoost, I was, I'm gonna say sold. And then when they announced the independent rear suspension, I was like, I'm getting one.
Definitely. That's awesome.
I'm not really all about the whole V8 big power thing. I want my car to be fun.
Right.
On the road when I'm doing 60 miles an hour, or I can take it to questionable speeds.
Right.
Without having to, doing crazy stuff to the engine, and the EcoBoost does that.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely.
And I can still get 32 miles an hour if I behave myself.
Right, exactly.
Gallon, not an hour. Sorry.
Hey, yeah, I got you. Yeah, MPGs. I can see why people rave about this car. I know it gets a lot of pushback, either from the design or from the fact that it's a 4-cylinder turbo, but I'm telling you, man, this is nice. And I can only imagine, considering what the aftermarket for the Speed is, what the aftermarket for this is going to be, especially with future models. And if Ford's already tuning it more aggressive, that's a good thing. That's less work for you, man.
If anybody's out there, we need high pressure fuel pump internals, please.
You know what? You should, and I don't know how close in design the fuel pump is to the speed, but if it's as close as the motor, I mean, you probably, man, those brakes are good. You probably could use our internals.
That's what I'm researching as we speak, actually.
You were talking about fuel. One of the biggest things, the best parts about driving a 4-cylinder, are that you can take road trips and only fill up once. We drove to Alabama recently, and we literally filled up right in the middle of the trip, and that was it.
Yep.
Whereas if you had a V8, which makes a few more horses, I won't lie, V8s are obviously a little quicker stock, but you're gonna be filling up all the time. It's just that big old motor.
And the good thing is, again, like the car's starting to get modified. Granted, it's nowhere near,
right,
a tuned Coyote or whatever.
Right,
but
right.
I'm still able to modify the car, but when I want to, do leisurely driving or just cruise, I can still get my 31, 32, 34 miles per gallon.
Right.
With the V8, I'll never be able to achieve it.
Never. I guarantee it. You will never do that in a V8. Do you have like a goal as far as power is concerned?
Stock block, stock turbo, I'm shooting for 4. I will accept 350.
Okay.
Stock block, big turbo, 500. And then once you have a build block, sky's the limit.
Yeah, I like it. Give me the top thing that you absolutely love about your car and the one opportunity it has that you would improve on.
I love the way the car feels on an open road. I love the way the car feels in general, especially even in the corners.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that I think that was a great job with the engineering behind it. If there's one thing I could improve, it would probably, I hate to say it, the transmission.
Okay.
It's an MT82. It's been great to me. I haven't had any problems with it, but I still believe a T56 would be the way to go.
Okay.
I understand why Ford picked to take a new transmission because it's a cost-effective thing, but at this point where we're already at, $30,000 just to even think about buying the car, it's...
Wow, that's the price point for this vehicle?
That's where it starts.
Wow.
So,
all right, Ford. First of all, thanks for letting me drive this, man. This thing's pretty cool.
Yep.
Very unique. And I'm, like I said, for my channel, I'm not doing a bunch of car reviews. I feel like that whole idea is completely saturated by 4 or 5 other people. You guys all know who you are. And so if I was comparing it to the Speed, I would say that this handles that motor in a much more refined way. The Speed is a total, what's the best way to describe it? It's a savage. It's all over the place. The steering wheel is constantly getting ripped out of your hands. You have to be careful when you accelerate, that you're paying attention because you can torque star off the road. I mean, Motor Trend has done the review where they put their foot to the floor and it literally took like a second and a half and the car was about to go into the woods. So with this car, it's a much more refined experience. I'm not saying one is better than the other, but what I am saying is you have to pick what you prefer. The Speed's a little lighter, so that initial takeoff, that being pushed to the back of your seat sensation is a little bit more prevalent, I would say, in the Speed. However, that doesn't mean that this car is slow by any means, because it's not. But you can't compare this Mustang to a GT. You just can't. It's a very different vehicle. The GT is also naturally aspirated, so the way that it makes power is very different than this vehicle. This vehicle stock makes power a lot like the Speed, where you're going to get most of your power in the beginning of the power band and then it sort of dies off. So good job, Ford. You did something different. It is not the SVO. This is a very different concept altogether, and I love it. The car has gotten great response from the Mustang community, and it's also given Mustang and Ford a whole different fan base now. Somebody who have never driven a Mustang before, now that they make a 4-cylinder turbo, may actually consider it. So I think this was a brilliant idea. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Alex and I were local, so we'll probably make some more stuff together, but until next time, we'll see you. Peace.